Hello and welcome to the Otaku Network podcast. My name is Steve.
And I'm David.
And we are into week 4 of the 2025 spring season. We've got a lot to cover, so we're going to get into it right away with episode 4 of Kowloon Generic Romance. So, we left off last episode with Reiko passing out on the top of the building. We get a flashback from previous Reiko's life. 2 months after Hajime has started living in Kowloon and working for the agency. They're out enjoying drinks and dinner, and a quite intoxicated Reiko makes the moves on Hajime. Then we cut to current times Reiko, who wakes up to find herself in Hajime's room where he took her after she passed out. After a little bit of a conversation, it cuts to Hebinuma and the gentleman who is Hebinuma's lover and or barista at Tea House, Gwen.
And or secret agent.
Yeah. They're in disguise, wandering through Kowloon. They are apparently searching for a Gwen clone. So, information drop. While going about, Gwen keeps commenting about how things in that setting of Kowloon they're in do not feel the way they should, hinting at the idea that this is a fabrication of some sorts, which I think is something that I brought up before, that there might be something going on with the city itself. Mm-hmm. We'd found out through the conversation between Reiko and Hajime that this is a reconstruction of the original Kowloon that was destroyed in the 90s. So that finally clears that up for me, because I've been wondering how they're dealing with the actual history of this neighborhood compared to how the neighborhood exists within the fictional story.
What year does this take place?
Unknown.
Okay.
But they do reference the original real Kowloon being destroyed in 93-94.
Okay.
Another thing that's mentioned in the conversation between Gwen and Hebinuma is the concept that the Reiko who was in love with Hajime is no longer alive, and the current one is a clone, but Gwen is questioning whether that's true, specifically because of the mole under her eye. And Hebinuma stating that clones won't exactly copy all of their physical features. So Reiko and Yaomei go to a housewarming party that Xiaomei is putting on. And even though he declined the invitation from Reiko, Hajime shows up as well. A little bit of aggression towards Hajime from Yaomei as she hands him a plate of lemon chicken with
all the lemons.
A lot of lemons. And after the party, Hajime and Reiko are walking through the streets. And he confronts her about the previous iteration of her. And she tells him that she believes that version that he loved is dead, which leads into continuing conversation between Hebinuma and Gwen about the death around the original Reiko. And Hajime tells this version of Reiko that he's the one who killed the older version of Reiko, which Gwen, when talking with Hebinuma at pretty much the same instance within the story, raises doubt about the reality behind that event. There's also a side thing where one of the old men that Hajime plays mahjong with is distracted by Hebinuma and under the pretexts of a health exam. And while that's happening, he has agents of his infiltrating Kowloon or something like that. There was a significant amount of exposition that was dumped on us within this episode that answered questions as pretty much has happened every single time, brings up more questions. To cap it off, in theory, the original Reiko was dead. This one is a clone of her. There was a clone of Gwen that they suspect no longer exists. This Kowloon is not exactly real. To what extent? No idea. Whether it's a fabrication, physical fabrication, or an art or like a generated fabrication, we don't know. It could be that the generic Terra is the thing that's creating everything around us. We don't know. I think that's something that we had discussed before as a possibility. Mm-hmm. But again, no idea. We're getting more drips of complex information, but don't know how much we can trust on face value. Hebinuma is set up as a character that's not trustworthy. Hajime is avoiding many things. Reiko. She can't offer any clues to this.
Right.
So, yeah, that's kind of where we are.
My immediate thought, oh my God, you killed Kenny, you bastard.
Nice.
I was shocked when Hajime was like, yeah, I killed her. So what? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, is he actually the villain? Or is he talking like, A metaphorical killing.
It could be in a situation where he believes he has killed her.
Oh, maybe it's like the I told them to do something and then they died and then it's my fault because I told them to do it. I killed them.
Or he could be,
You know, the gymnastics.
oh sure,
type
it was
thing
like
of
it was my fault that they died.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't like pull the trigger of the gun.
Yeah, so like I told them to do this thing, they died.
Yeah.
I was the one that told them to do it, ergo I killed them.
I'm responsible for their demise.
Yeah, you know,
Or
that like proof, like a mathematical proof. You
Yeah.
know how like you'd have these steps, thus this.
Yep. To me, it feels more along the lines of her death didn't really occur, but he's being led to believe that it did, and that he's the one responsible for it.
Maybe
That's where I'm leading into.
maybe she is real. She
The
just
real
has-
version, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
and she just has like mind.
chemical amnesia.
Yeah, like Hebi Numa decided to give her the special cocktail,
Yeah.
like in Lazarus. Spoiler alert. I don't know. This was a nail biter.
There's a lot of good information that was deposited in this episode.
What a cliffhanger, like a motherfucker.
Oh, there was a cliffhanger at the last one, but not as significant.
Right, like
There was a lot of
people
data.
pass out at the end of anime episodes all the time.
Sure.
Like,
There was a significant amount of data deposited in this episode.
we all knew she wasn't dead. The fucking series would just be over.
Well, apparently not if she's already died once.
It was just intense, just like camping.
Series continues to be strong.
I've totally
It's a very small world
correct
because it really only
it's a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood of characters. But the depth within the world building is expanding rather satisfactorily.
Right. We know almost nothing about the outside world outside of Kowloon.
I would say we know almost nothing about any of these fucking characters either. And there's been a lot of information that's been given, but all of it is very vague and potentially untrustworthy.
I think the character we know the most about, Yaomei. I think she's being 100% straightforward.
By that very nature, we don't know anything about her. With the exception of
What? She's just a plastic surgery girly pop that really likes.
she completely changed
Lemon
herself
chicken.
through plastic surgery and is now currently a seamstress working with Xiaomei.
Yeah.
That's all we know about her.
That's all we need to know.
All right, that's fair.
She's happy-go-lucky.
She is the rock of stability and support that Reiko needs.
She's the rock and stability that we all need in this fucking show.
I mean, Xiaomei is fine, but Xiaomei is off in her own reality.
Right. Xiaomei's Xiaomei.
It's true.
Yaomei, that's a rock we can trust. I'm just glad she was back.
I don't think we can trust Yaomei either.
I'm just glad she was back.
She is a fun character. And I loved
I love the passive aggression.
her attack on Hajime was fantastic.
You got like 2 pieces of chicken and the rest of it's just lemons.
Just piles of lemon.
You looked at the plate afterwards and there might have, like the main serving plate, there
Yeah.
might have been like 2 lemons left.
Yeah. And then like she's like, say something, motherfucker. Say something.
My Hero Academia Vigilante continues to be fucking awesome. Knuckle Duster's in a slump. He seems to be getting a little bored with the level of villainy and really wants to be challenged in his crime fightingness. He wants to punch up like several levels. Koichi notices this and begins to slightly worry about Knuckle Duster in a way that you can worry about Knuckle Duster. And unfortunately, Pop Step does take a little bit of a backseat this episode. However, Koichi also tries to focus on his own powers as well. He's out jogging one day when a jogger happens to run past him. He notices very quickly that this is the pro hero Ingenium. And so, displaying his powers in front of Ingenium, Ingenium thinks that his quirk is actually pretty useful. And however, Koichi explains to him that it's very hard for him to stop because he reduces the amount of friction that he's experiencing, and thus it's hard for the friction to slow him down if he's using his power. Ingenium very quickly comes up with a workaround of sorts. He said, "You can go in any direction, right?" And Koichi's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Just accelerate in the other direction.
Reverse thrusters.
So you can stop." And Koichi very quickly figures out, "Hey, yo, I can do it." All the while, Ingenium and his team are dealing with a turboed up villain, a bat that's cracked up on instant turbo and is running amok on the freeway.
He's doing hot laps on the freeway.
Yeah, he's cracked out on the freeway running laps.
He's like a kid with a tuned up Civic.
The first time Ingenium meets him, he is saved by the fact that his suit has airbags in the kerfuffle with this villain. And through 1, his meeting with Koichi, and 2, his taking of risks. He removes the airbags from his system so that he can catch up with Cracky.
Bat Boy.
He very quickly relies on his team to try to catch this bat man. A chase begins throughout the city. I forgot about the cracked up hero, or the cracked up villain.
Yeah, you skipped half of the episode.
I did. Meanwhile, while this is all happening, because I apparently skipped this, Killer Bee is out interacting with want-to-be villains and distributing the instant turbo to these villains, all while being handled by a mysterious voice.
It's got to be the dude we saw in the first episode.
Probably.
That gave the doses to the three dumbasses.
Yeah. So while she's being handled by this voice, she is out distributing this drug, and they're talking about this mysterious plot that they have.
He had chastised her for the recklessness from the previous episode where she just let loose and set a whole bunch of supervillains out, and he wanted her to be more selective, going after specific targets that are more prone to being aggressive and reactionary.
In which she gives this dude that just fucking roids out.
Yeah.
And very quickly brings Knuckle Duster back from the brink of being depressed. Because now he's like, if this is what villains are going to be like, I'm fucking in. And the pep is back in his step.
Yeah, because he gets a challenge for once.
Yeah, he gets challenged and he's ready to go again. Now we cut back to Ingenium and their team. And after he has this interaction with Koichi where he gives him his business cards, like, hey, if you ever want to do some hero work, join my team. Koichi and the Vigilantes stop Batman, and they have this interaction with Ingenium's team, and where it's very like Batman the Animated Series-esque. They basically like, we're the Vigilantes, and then they peace off into the moonset. And Ingenium then catches up with Koichi the next day. It's like, give me back the fucking business card.
You don't need to have my number.
Yeah, he's like, you already have a team, which might be subtle for, yeah, you're doing illegal shit.
Yeah, but like, people don't need to know that you know me.
Well, but they keep jogging together, so.
Yeah, but you know.
No, that's kind of where the episode wraps up. It
was a fun episode.
It was a very fun episode. I was sad that Pop Step took kind of the backseat this episode.
She's
also kind of flirty with Koichi.
Well, apparently the next preview is going to be a little bit more into that.
Yeah.
So I loved when they were leaving Ingenium and his team, and everybody's saying something as they're leaving, and she goes, I'm not actually with them, I'm just kind of here, trying not to incriminate herself. The development of the larger plot is being done methodically, and I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
That I liked how it touched on a bit of real world darkness, in that the queen bee, or whatever she calls herself, as one of the ways to find potential candidates to give the drug to, she's essentially offering herself up for services to businessmen.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that I don't know how much it still goes on in Japan, but it was definitely a problem in the 80s and 90s. Joshikosei dating. It was a thing.
That was kind of a dark portion of the episode.
So the show's been dark. I mean, it's been mature.
Yeah.
Is My Hero Academia equally as mature, or is this kind of like a step up, or maybe a directional change in the story it's telling compared to the core series? Because there've been a number of times in Vigilantes where it has really gotten grimly realistic.
Yeah, there's some.
Is MHA
dark.
as grimly realistic?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Like there's this whole part with this dude that kind of like abuses a child for like gains. He's like abusing her superpower to try to get it to take away other people's superpowers.
Okay.
And very much like emotionally and physically abusive.
Sure.
Like manipulator, like, see, you cause all this death and destruction. It's your fault. This is your fault.
Creating a situation of deep despair.
Yeah. So yeah, My Hero doesn't shy away from dark themes.
Okay. The show's good. I don't know what more to say. It was, I thought the pacing was really good with this episode. I enjoyed the casual interactions between Koichi and Ingenium.
It was awesome. I really liked it.
So Lazarus, we are now looking for one of the 3 greatest hackers in the world. Dr. 909, right?
Yeah, Dr. 909.
So thought popped into my head. Anytime I see 909, I only think of one thing. And that is this legendary drum machine called the TR-909.
Maybe that's why.
And I should have grabbed onto that more in this episode because it came very clear at the near the end of the episode why I should have paid attention to that, and that may have been more intentional than I thought, because I brushed it off because I look at a clock, I'm like, oh, it's 9:09, so I see it everywhere, and I'm like, oh, reference to drum machine, but knowing that most people don't even know really what a drum machine is. Honestly, though, this show, I would hazard to guess that was a very consequential connection. So, the team is tracking down Dr. 909. And they do some digging into his financial record and find out that he's been reaping the rewards regarding the decline of the stock value of anything associated with Hopna. They trace a lot of the information in his financial records to a broker, this guy named Sam. And so they figure, let's start with this dude whose face we know and can find. And Sam's a piece of shit stock bro. So they set up a sting. Well, not really a sting. They set up a trap for him. He owns nightclubs all throughout the world and throws lavish parties where all his bros hang out and have hotties and excess and debauchery. So the four of them, being Chris, Leland, Axel, and Doug, head out for a night on the club. But to further their chances of attracting Sam's attention, they make Leland dress as a girl. So they get into the club. Everybody's kind of scoping everything out. They've got their plans. There's high security. There's special tattoos that allow people to get into the VIP section. And there is a headliner of this world-famous EDM DJ. And they find out that their target will be arriving with the DJ via helicopter shortly. Things kind of work out, and Leland and Chris end up getting invited up to the VIP lounge, where they meet Sam, his cronies, and the DJ. So meanwhile, Axel has replicated one of these access tattoos for himself. And so he and Doug also make it up into the VIP lounge. It's kind of like backup. While this is going on, Elena and Hirsch are back at headquarters, and Elena's tracking more data. They found that there have been a series of transactions related to Dr. 909's accounts all over the world. They've been able to get the video data from the terminals and are working on cleaning it up, figuring out who it is, because it's a dude in a hoodie and a baseball cap. So before they can clean it up, shit hits the fan up in the VIP lounge, as there is a punch bowl that Sam and his cronies traditionally use to drug all of the women. And Leland himself gets pulled aside by the DJ, who has a predilection for younger looking women.
Concerning.
Yeah, very concerning. Like, these dudes are toxic. We'll just say toxic. They're bros. All the girls are passed out. Sam's homies are going to have their ways with them. Chris is like, haha, you got to have better drugs than that to fuck me up. And shit starts popping up. Pretty much at the same time, Axel and Doug start shit with security. Fantastic shooting skills between those two fools. All of them. Elena figures out that the person who has been doing all the ATM hits is the superstar DJ. They connect the dots, figure, oh shit, the superstar DJ is literally Dr. 909. Hence why I should have thought more about 909 as a reference to a drum machine and then techno music. Anyways, Sam and Dr. 909 realize that the jig is up and try to escape on his helicopter, with Axel yeeting himself off of the platform and grabbing onto the helicopter. Meanwhile, Leland and Doug have taken chase in one of the vehicles, which is custom fit with a medium-sized drone. Axel, using the drone, takes down the helicopter and single shot. Yeah. Well placed. And as the two are sinking into the river, he coerces Dr. 909 to hand over all of the data he has that he had stolen from the laboratory associated with Hopna, because they figured out that these two fools just stumbled upon information that was useful. They don't actually have a connection with Dr. Skinner. So we still haven't gotten closer to Skinner, but we now have a cache of data that may help further understand what's going on.
It's a lead.
It is a lead. As with every episode, we've ended with a lead into the next episode. So that's...
But this is also a lead to potentially actual information about Dr. Skinner.
We'll see.
It's the company
that he worked with, yeah.
Yeah. Made his death drug.
Yep.
And then we get a horrifying scene with the chimps.
Yeah, there's a selection of primates in giant containment tubes that I would assume each of them was given the drug a day separated from each other, and we're just now watching them die one at a time until the last one dies, and then that's time up for humanity. That's my thought. That's my take on it. Well, I'm sure we'll find out what's up with that at some point in the story.
But the fact that the drug mutates like clockwork, pretty unrealistic chemistry.
Yeah, very well engineered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you always tried me about? Suspending my belief? I suspended my belief a little bit in this episode. The episode, it was, between all of them, this was the most enjoyable.
I had fun.
It was enjoyable. The chase scene with the helicopter and the glider drone was ridiculous.
Chris's dress was immaculate.
Leland looked like a girl from a early 70s Disney film. He looks like something from, like he'd be one of the human characters in like the Jungle Book in the, like 2 or something like that. I don't know. It was really weird. It was off-putting with how he just made me, his motions, and then just he looked like a Disney character from the 70s.
Fair. I did love the choreography with Chris and Axel.
Oh, when they were fighting all the security guys?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
It was like a ballroom dance, and I loved it.
No, so Chris had the gun.
Yeah.
And then Axel shows up and starts firing the gun with her hand.
Yeah.
As he's moving her around and she's moving around him, and they're both taking crock shots with the gun while it's still in her hand.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
No, that was very well executed.
Yeah.
It was very like ballroom dance-esque.
See, that's the strong point of the show, is the fight choreography. Everything else just kind of pales in comparison, I feel. I think every episode needs to have really good fight choreography. We haven't exactly gotten that in every episode, I feel.
I find it very enjoyable. It's a nice little thriller-esque show.
Yeah.
The clock is ticking. You feel the intensity of every episode. The cop showed up again.
Yep. The cat dropped on his head. I caught that in the beginning.
Meow! Meow!
I don't like Doug.
He's
too cool for his own good.
He's also very vanilla.
He's always standing there. He's just posing. He's like,
yeah.
Not
he's
posing.
Like,
he's
mewing.
He's posturing.
Yeah. But he always looks like a Calvin Klein model.
Pursing his lips.
Just pursing his lips, like
striking a pose.
You're like, stop it. Get some help.
I mean, there's going to be a double cross. There has to be a double cross.
My money's still on Doug.
On Doug?
Yep.
I'm starting to think Chris.
You think? Because
of how it just feels like the show is trying to push the likability of Chris.
Or Elena. She's trying to eliminate.
Well, so episode 2, Doug warned Leland not to trust Elena.
Yeah. Doug
comes off as grim and gruff and like kind of not really necessarily wanting to be doing this, at least with these fools.
Mm-hmm.
So he's set up as the one not to trust, which usually means that's a false, red herring.
Trust him.
But I think with how much they're trying to push the likability of Chris, that might be the more likely scenario of who's going to betray them.
Rug out from under us, Leland.
And then there's always Leland, which I don't think we can trust regardless.
Rug out from under us, it's going to be Leland.
Okay, so the beginning of every episode, at least beyond the first, because I don't think they really did it in the first, they have these disconnected narrations. And the narration this time was talking about underage kids using Hafna recreationally.
Yeah.
So
at exorbitant prices.
Leland is a minor, I think we can assume.
Maybe? I don't know.
So
he might be a college student.
Given that, there's a good chance he's probably not used the drug.
Couldn't tell you.
So Kowloon Generic Romance, I think, was the strongest episode out of the 3 of them, just given how significant the events that happen in the episode are towards the story. My Hero Academia Vigilantes is doing a good job slowly unveiling its overarching plot of this whole rage-inducing drug distribution scheme, while also blending our lovable idiots into the larger professional superhero landscape in a way that does seem natural. It doesn't seem forceful. And I think this is the best episode so far of Lazarus. It was the most interesting, I feel.
They say he's a middle school student
Dude, you never know.
from Canada.
All right, so there's a really good chance he has not taken the drug.
I don't know, unless he's a good boy or a bad boy. Good boy.
You never know.
Why? Why did they recruit a literal middle-aged boy? Or not middle-aged, middle school-age boy.
He's good at the drone thing. I don't know. That's something that they need to explore.
This is the American government we're talking about.
No, we don't even know who the hell she is or who she's working for.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it is in the United States, so.
That's fair. But
Child labor.
Something tells me that they have not filled in their W-2 information yet.
If ever.
Anyways, your thoughts on the shows?
Awesome. I'm enjoying all three of the shows. I never don't want to watch the shows.
I think that's a first.
Yeah. No, I'm really struggling to find fault with any of the shows this season. I'm happy with everything we're watching. Do I get a little grossed out occasionally? Yes, but
That whole exchange between Dr. 909 and Leland was very uncomfortable.
yeah. I mean, the whole thing up there was kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, the whole representation of toxic bro culture attitudes.
Yup.
It was a little on the nose. Yeah, no bueno. All right.
Apparently, that's kind of what this series is supposed to do, though. It's supposed to bring attention to, like,
Problems within society.
especially American society.
That's good. Well, I mean, part of the production team is American based anyways. So
Yeah, isn't this the same company that made Castlevania?
I don't know beyond MAPPA who any of the companies are. It could be.
Fair.
I don't know.
So I feel like,
But there is an American presence within the creation of the show.
okay, that's why it's on HBO and
Cartoon Network.
yeah,
It's
Adult Swim.
It's in conjunction with Adult Swim
this is the first time one of the animes we're watching is available on TV
in America. Yes.
in America. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and don't forget to check out the other weekly podcast episode, Anime Plus, where we were talking about season 2 of Shoshimin, How to Become Ordinary. Those come out on Wednesdays. And like and subscribe, leave a comment, join us on Discord, check out David's YouTube channel that he's still working on.
I've been busy.
You've been busy. I know what it's like. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Deuces.